My name's Holly, and I'm the Adult and Information Services Librarian at Leduc Public Library.
And I'm Rhonda. I'm the Youth Services Coordinator at the library, and we're going to be painting with you today.
Thank you.
We're going to be doing this lovely picture of a fall setting. So you can hang it up, leave it up all year and enjoy it, or if you're one of these people that love to decorate your house in the fall, it's a great addition to that. Yeah, me too. I love the fall. So I'm going to be painting and telling you some tips and tricks and things like that, and Holly's going to be you following along.
You can do this.
Yes, we can do this. So I'll start by telling you I did two paintings. The first one I did, I put the paint on and I put way too much, so you can see at the bottom especially it's quite gloopy. And it got rid of a lot of the details and texture that I would have liked. So I tried a second one with far less paint. And I like the way it came out in the bottom, the detail and stuff. It just seemed to be a lot better.
Interesting to see the difference.
Yeah, so I'm going to show you how much paint to put on to start with. What we're going to do, it's kind of a neat technique. We're going to glop the paint on, and then we're going to go in and brush it and blend it, and then we're going to add more paint on top for color and texture and detail. But as I've already done it, the paint I'm going to put on is probably a good amount for this style of painting. If you want to put more paint on, you'll come out with this. Totally up to you. There's no right or wrong. Okay, so shall we start with some paint, Holly?
Yes, let's do this.
I'll start with the white, and then I'll hand it over to you.
Okay.
So, and you'll have your paint in little cups. Just take a popsicle stick, or open that for me.
You definitely can.
There
we go. Strong.
I'm good today. I didn't have my oatmeal this morning. Okay, so I'm going to put the white on the top of the canvas. Just some white. You don't need much. And I'm going to put 3 dots down the middle here. I'll do the same.
All right. So squiggly line. Oh, I can do this, Rhonda.
Yep.
Oh.
By myself.
There we go.
And then I'm going to put some yellow.
One. Already I can tell I'm using a bit more paint. See what happens.
Yeah, exactly. And no, like, my picture will not look exactly like Holly's, and yours will not look like either of ours. So they'll be similar but different, and that's what makes art great, is when, you know, it's everyone's different expressions. Okay, then I'm going to do my line that's going to be my pathway up the middle of the picture.
Okay.
And dots in the sky, because the sky, you can see, is a muted yellow, so the white and the yellow together will make a nice light yellow.
4.
And then I am going to put some brown, because the sides where I guess it would be kind of dead grass in the fall, or weeds and whatever is growing in the forest floor.
See mine thus far.
And then I'm just going to put a zigzag brown line. Go either side.
I'm just going to put that down while I open up.
So I'll show you what I'm doing here. And then some orange in the brown, because it is brown, but I want to have some nice fall color in there as well on the ground. So I'm just going to put some orange dots here. Let's say 3 on each side. There you go.
Thank you. It's a good thing we're wearing our aprons today.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But that's part of art. If you're not making a mess, you're not having fun. I don't know if it's going to work with the easels or not, Holly, because it's going to get all...
Was it going to come down?
But you know what? Our easels will not stay clean forever. If you're painting, you're going to get a mess. Our easels are brand new, so you have that tendency to like, oh, I got paint on them, but
we'll break it in.
Okay, so take your thick brush, and you're going to start blending, but we're going to start with the white and yellow, because obviously it's lighter colors. If I start with the brown, I'm going to get brown in my white and yellow, which I don't want. But it's okay to get the white and yellow in, because that will just mix right in with the brown. The brown will overtake those light colors.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with my path. And I'm just going to take a little bit of yellow and blend it in. And that's all you're doing. Don't worry about which stroke is going in which direction. If you go a little bit up into the sky area or over into the brown, that's okay. It's just all, it's not a very detailed painting.
good for beginners probably.
Yeah, it's more of just kind of playing and getting used to exactly, the textures and everything. And then once you've done the path, we can go up to the sky and start blending that.
A few blobs, but that's okay, right?
Yep, that is all fine. Now the horizon line, the line that I drew, I should have said this at the beginning actually. The horizon line is down lower, and all of your canvases that we sent home should have a line on them. I went down, I believe, 7 inches, drew a straight line. So your horizon line is very, very important in art. If you're doing any sort of landscaping, portrait, anything you want realistic, if you're painting a vase of flowers on a table and you've got the room in the back, you always need some sort of horizon line. And that's where the sky meets the ground. And that will help you with your perspective, which I'll talk about in a minute, and just getting things looking proportionate. It helps. So,
Catch up to you.
take your time. This is just about relaxing and playing and blending the colors. And just supposed to be a relaxing thing.
I'm not a trained artist at all, but you know what? I have found over this last year, Rhonda has made me realize how relaxing it really can be. I appreciate that.
If you get stressed about it, it's not going to be fun. And
Yeah.
painting can be very relaxing. And sometimes we worry too much about that the outcome doesn't look exactly like it's pictured in my brain. Well, that takes practice. It's like anything. If you're playing sports, you have to build that muscle memory. You have to be trained how to, like you say you're playing soccer, how to hit the ball into the net. You have to train yourself. Well, it's the same with painting. I have to train for my brain to go down my arm and tell it where that paintbrush goes. It doesn't just happen automatically. It takes some practice. I really believe anyone can be an artist. It's just practice, which we don't always take the time to do art.
No.
It can be very fun and rewarding once you get going at it and doing things you really like.
It's funny, as I'm a huge reader, that's always been my relaxing time, but this is also just another form of relaxing. It's great.
It's a great, and mindfulness is really big right now too, and art is very good for mindfulness.
Totally.
Any of those activities.
I'll bring mine up nice and close so they can, splodge a bit, but you can see it all in there.
So I'm gonna move into my brush. I didn't wash my brush. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna keep going, and eventually that little yellow white will turn brown and just blend right in.
Oh, okay. So we don't want to be going into our path anymore after
Exactly.
this.
You don't want to go into the path, and you don't want to go into the sky.
Okay. Okay. So just right here.
And you can go up and down, you can go sideways, whichever you want. And we're going to blend the path and the sky eventually, so don't worry if it goes a little bit into it, it's okay.
Now, am I able to kind of, if I have a lot on there, can I kind of just blotch it on here a bit?
You can certainly, You can take a cloth
I feel
or
like
a
there's
paper
a lot.
towel and take some off your brush if you want. Yeah.
I want my winding road a bit here.
Yeah, and you can work this time right now too to shape your road, like see how perspective, when you're looking at a road, it's wider at the front when it comes towards you, and it goes narrow as it goes off into the distance or the horizon, like I talked to you about.
Yeah.
So Holly, you can easily take yours and just kind of give it this curve like I have.
Okay.
Because the brown is darker, it will
Do that.
it will encroach in the path and make it the shape that you got.
Gotcha. So doing that.
And after you're done this part, you're going to actually take the tinfoil, and that's how we're going to get the nice blotchy texture. So again, you really don't have to worry about the brush strokes because we're going to change the texture of it in a few minutes.
There we go.
And this painting is very layered. So even though this might be more brown, and I've still got some of the light colors in here from when I was painting the sky, I'm going to be painting over it a couple times so I can build that up and make it the color exactly as I want it.
So before I hit it. You don't need my name tag in my painting.
Depends if you want to do a collage.
Yeah, exactly. There we go. Oh, that's neat. It's fun to see the colors. Let me take a step back and look. Oh, I can see the one.
And then you've got your overall shape of it, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a piece of paper towel and just give my brush a little wipe. I'm not too worried about washing it right now, because the next color I'm going to use and you're going to use is black. Very, very dark. Don't worry about the other color. It will overtake that for sure. So the next thing is, Holly, if you can hand the, when you're done there,
Yeah.
the aluminum foil over.
Okay.
And I believe in the kit, you should have a piece of aluminum foil, or 2 or 3. I think we'll supply them with a few, Holly, just so they have.
Okay. Now just take off a piece there for you.
Yeah, a piece about 5 inches long or wide.
There.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's see if I can do this. It's not straight, is that all right?
Oh, there, yeah. And then just kind of fold it over and twist it up into a loose ball. Loose is good. If you go really, really tight, squeeze it really, really hard, then you're not going to get the bumpy textures. It's going to become just a flat piece of tin foil.
Okay.
So, and then this is the fun part. You're just dabbing the paint, dabbing your canvas with it. Now, I can tell already in the sky, I could have added more paint.
Okay.
Which if you want to, you can do now. Holly, I see you have more paint, so you're good. I'm just gonna dab mine, it should work out okay.
Okay.
And this is where we're gonna put our trees anyway, so.
We're gonna do this all over.
All over, so start with the light color,
Okay.
and then you're gonna go to your brown. If I go into my brown right now, come up here, oops, now I've got big brown blobs and my
Yeah.
nice bright yellow sky. So it's giving you a nice texture. And acrylics are good because they'll dry and still have that texture in them. Oils are good that way too. Watercolors, obviously, they're so thin you can't do this with them.
Yeah.
It's a big part of art too, is just knowing what mediums you like to work with. I'm not a big watercolor person, so when I'm at home painting, I'm not going to grab my watercolors. I just don't like them. Other people love them. I think they're beautiful. I've seen beautiful artwork with watercolors. It's just not what I like to work with. It dries too fast for me, I guess.
Okay.
Now see, I'm getting yellow in my brown. That's okay. Just keep moving it around and working it, and it will blend in. But it doesn't matter if there is some yellow anyway, because you can see on the ground we've got leaves, and some leaves can be yellow. So it will blend in eventually. It's fine.
Oh, I like that. That texture.
I'm getting it all over my hands already, but hey, like I said, if you're not making a mess, you're not having fun. It's not just toddlers that can make messes and have fun.
I was holding my breath as I was doing that. Don't recommend it. There we go.
That's right, it's supposed to be relaxing, Holly.
Yeah, I know.
Breathe, breathe, remember to breathe.
I got it.
Okay, so now you're going to take your middle-sized brush. Get 3 brushes, great big flat one, middle one, and a tiny one. So the middle one, now we're going to blend the edges of the path
Okay.
in with the dirt color, I guess,
Okay.
and we're going to blend the horizon. So just like that, just
Oh.
blend back and forth. Yeah,
Okay.
just little squiggles.
It's so funny because I always think I know what you're gonna say, and I'm like, no.
That's not
That's
it.
neat.
And then we're going to go over this again with the tin foil. So
Okay.
we'll look. So right now I've got the brush strokes, and then I've got all my blotchy. So I want to take it back to blotchy. And feel free to wipe your brush if you want to. I'm actually taking some paint off, so I'm getting it all over my brush. So I'm just going to wipe it. You can do that whenever you want. And then just go along and blend in the horizon the exact same way. I'm just doing almost kind of a little background blend because when you go over with the tin foil, it'll blend it in. It'll give it the same texture, and then you won't notice those little brush marks. Like right now I'm looking at it going, that looks kind of funny. Looks like I'm trying to draw grass or something there, but
Yeah.
Then what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to get a new piece of tin foil.
Okay. Here, I'll do that while I.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'm thinking that because I'm going to go from the yellow out, and that way I won't start with
Your brown.
brown foil. I think I'm talking loud enough, Holly. You think they can hear me?
Oh yeah. I think so.
I know all my life I've always been told, speak up, we can't hear you, so.
I'm the opposite where I'm pretty loud.
So, that'll work good together then. And then again, you're just gonna dab it, you're getting that texture back. And you can kind of push it so it blends in good, however you want there. If you get a little brown in the sky, not the end of the world. Like I say, we're drawing trees over that, and we're putting leaves over that, so you can correct that later. I like this style of painting because it's very forgiving.
Yes.
There's very few things you can do that you can go, oh my gosh, I have to start over.
Oh, that is neat.
And if you got big globs of paint or something, it's no big deal, just leave them. They'll, when it dries, it will dry a little flatter, so if you've got high bumps on it, it will go down a bit, but you'll still have it bumpy texture, which when it's dry makes for a really nice paint. Just adds that extra pleasing part to the eye where you're seeing texture as well as the beautiful colors. Okay, so the next step is we're going to take, I didn't use much color on this one, so I'm going to reuse it, but if you want a new piece, Holly, go right ahead.
I could probably use this back of this one.
Okay, and we're going to put some white on our palette or paper plate. Fancy palette, oops.
Thank you.
And what I'm going to do with this white now is highlight my path, because my brown, when I blended it and then I went on and dabbed it, now I've closed my path in, but I want to bring my path wider again. One of the first things you should always do when you paint, no matter what you're painting, scenery, a person, a pet, anything, always first say, where's my light source?
Okay.
Where is my light coming from? Then you can know which side is brighter for detail, and you can show the light in the picture, and that just helps it bring it to life. So my light in these pictures comes from the middle.
Okay.
I usually more than likely like to put it on the side, but right now where we're focusing on the middle with the path, I wanted to put it in the middle.
Okay.
So I'm going to take some white and brighten up the path, stretch it out a little bit, and I'm going to put some white in the middle of my sky as well, because that's where my light is going to be. Okay? All right, so we're just dabbing our white, and then you can just dab it on your path. It just brightens it right up already and brings it to life. And if you get some brown in the middle of the path, again, that's okay. It's outdoors in nature.
Yeah.
There's going to be dirt on a path. There's going to be
Leaves.
exactly.
I love walking on the leaves.
Yes, oh yeah, crunching. I like that. Now in the sky, I might not want brown, so
Okay.
I'm going to dab mine a bit here on my.
Another one. Get white everywhere.
Yeah.
So right in the middle there?
Right in the middle.
And does it go all the way
And
down to that?
more up high,
Okay.
and leave some of the yellow showing through.
Okay.
It's just a little highlight of yellow.
There we go.
You can make it bright white, you can make it, you can hardly have any white, it's totally up to you, it's your picture.
Love it.
Okay. It's coming together, huh?
It is. I love it. Yeah, that's neat.
So now the fun part, trees. The fun but stressful part.
I know. I was gonna say it
Yeah.
stressed me out a bit, Rhonda.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got the base of your picture, now we're going to do the trees. And the trees, all you need is black.
Okay.
And we're going to put black on our palette as well.
Give myself more.
Big blob of black.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And the first stroke you do with this is a little nerve-wracking because you've got a really beautiful base and you, do I want to wreck it? Once you get going with the trees, it's actually really fun
Okay.
because you're scraping some of the paint off. So we're going to start with this big tree right here,
Okay.
which is in the foreground. So with perspective, something that's in the foreground is usually bigger.
Mm-hmm.
It's down lower because
Okay.
it's closer. So like my feet would be closer. If I was standing way back by that wall, it would,
Yes.
because you can see right now, you can only see this much of me. If I was back there, you could probably see all of me. So the bigger tree is in the front, it's lower, and it's wider. And then the same with this one, a little bit bigger, it's down lower. And then the little wee ones in the back, wisping along back there,
Mm-hmm.
they're almost sitting right on the horizon. And they're small, they're very small and pinwheel. Which if you're ever standing looking at a forest, take a look out and you'll notice the trees that are close, they're big, you can see more detail.
Yeah.
They're closer to you, they're down lower, and then as you look, your horizon goes up and the base of the trees go up as well.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So when you're putting your trees on, keep that in mind. The bigger ones are near the front. So
Okay.
you're just going to dab some black on your brush and put quite a bit.
Okay.
Put quite a bit on there. Can you see
Mhm.
that or not? And then you can just pick where you want to put your tree. So I'm going to put one right here. I'm going to put two big ones, one on either side. And just start and drag right up to the top and off the page.
So it doesn't have to be a solid line.
That's right, because you can go in and fill it later. Plus, trees, they're not all just solid black. They've got the bark and the lines, and you can see the grain of the...
You feel much better after you do that first one.
You feel better? You do, don't you? Yep, you do. Now, we're going to do the same on the other side, but now I dragged it up this way, so I get all kinds of yellow paint on this part of my brush.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to wipe that off
Okay.
with my paper towel, and this side still has nice black on it. I'll use that for my next tree. So I just took a wipe. Now I've got nice black on that side. And I'm going to put this one in maybe a little closer to my path and just go straight up. Now I didn't get much black on that one, but that's okay. I know where my tree is. I'm going to wipe my brush, put more black on it, and drag the exact same spot so I get more black.
Now, do you think
Yeah,
I
you got-
should
you
if
got
I,
some on yours,
is
yeah,
that
that's
all
good.
right?
It's up to you.
Oh,
You can leave it now if you, because you can always go back and add more
yes,
black.
that's true.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna do one
But
more
I
on
can
this
get
side.
any
Yeah.
side. Okay, now I have my 2 trees. I got a big glob at the bottom, so I'm just going to stretch it up.
Okay.
You can go over it 5, 10 times if you want. There's no, like I said, no right or wrong. Then I'm going to put 2 more trees with this brush,
Okay.
but I'm probably going to use it at an angle. Like I'll probably run it up like this.
Okay, like
Not
sideways.
straight flat yet, a little bit on the side, not totally sideways because then I'll get a thin tree, but a
Yeah.
little angled. So it won't be as wide as the brush, but it will be almost.
Makes sense.
Because these are my 2 big trees. I don't want to fill my whole canvas up with great big trees.
Yeah.
So the next one, so let's see. I'm going to put a bigger one over on the end here.
Okay.
So see how I
Why
want
don't
it
you do
angled
it
like
first?
that. And that's going to be a little higher because it's a little smaller. Right off the top.
All right. Let's try this.
I didn't apply much pressure, so you can see how it kind of jumped, but that's okay because I can go clean it up later.
Oh, sorry.
Very good.
Thank you.
And I'm going to do the same over here. I'm going to start a little bit higher because it is a bit smaller tree. There. So it's starting to come together.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to set that brush aside and pick up my medium brush. We're still working with the black. I'm just get some paint on it from when I did blended my path. So I'm
Yeah.
just wiping it on my finger a bit to kind of break, because the bristles kind of dried a bit and stuck together. I don't have to wash it. When you're doing acrylic, it's okay to use water if that's what you like.
Yeah.
But I try to stay away from it because acrylic and water makes runny, and it just thins it out so easily and so quickly. I don't like to.
Okay.
But that's not saying it's right or wrong. That's my technique.
Okay.
With artists, everyone's got their own technique. It's, yeah.
Oh,
Only preference.
interesting.
No right or wrong. Okay, so put some black on it.
Yeah.
And we'll probably put about 5 or 6 trees with this size brush.
Okay.
Because we don't want to fill it up with too many close-up trees. We want to have room to have those nice ones off in the distance so we have our perspective. So just pick anywhere to put some trees.
Okay.
And again, you're going to drag these right up to the top.
Okay. And that's flat.
And remember, they start a little higher than the first 2 that you did, because they're back
Yes.
farther.
It's good to remind me of that.
Yeah.
Like, mine doesn't always remember. There we go.
And I'm just wiping off, because when I put it on and drag it up, the side of my brush has all kinds of yellow on it, and I don't want that in my next tree. You could put it in your next tree. It's not the end of the world. It's just going to lighten the color of the tree, and then you can either go over it later, or you can leave that as a highlight. And so that one I just drew, I didn't get any paint at all, so I'm going to wipe my brush, add more black, and just go over it.
Alright, I'm gonna try one more over here. There we go.
And keep in mind too, when you're in the forest, most trees grow straight up, some of them are leaning,
Yeah.
some of them actually have a curve to them. So if you draw and your hand kind of goes over a little bit, no big
Not
deal.
good.
You're drawing Mother Nature.
Yeah.
Mother Nature is not totally perfect.
We were out for a walk the other day and one was falling right over, so.
Yeah, there you go, right? Yeah. So actually this forest is going to be a pretty perfect forest
Yeah.
compared to what you might see out there. Okay, now I'm going to put that brush down.
Okay.
And I'm going to get my little tiny thin brush.
Okay.
And that one we're going to use for all these wispy little trees in the background. Now when you are looking at a forest or something and there's something far off in the distance, There's very little detail.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's shadowed, you can't really see all of it. So these ones, I'm not gonna worry about detail. If the background shows through and it's not a really, really black tree, that's okay. It's just the vision of it's there.
Okay.
Your eye will see that it's there.
Yeah.
That's all that we really need.
So don't go over it a lot.
Right, you want all kinds of tiny little ones. And again, you're gonna start right around the horizon and just go up.
Now, are we going all the way to the top?
You can if you want to with some of them. Some of
Okay.
them you don't have to.
Okay.
Because they are off in the distance, they will appear shorter than the ones up closer, even if they are not.
Okay. This is fun. I like this one.
And then the little ones, they really help give it that depth. And you might get some of the brown from the forest floor on there, that's okay too, because some trees do have brown in them. All the birds living in this forest.
Oh, yeah. We need some sounds of nature behind us.
Yeah, some birds singing.
There we go.
Let's see, a couple more little ones in here. Then you can go over some of them that you want to be darker. And we're not, and don't worry about the tops of the trees because we're going to come over and put all our pretty autumn leaves in there, and that will kind of show where the top of the trees are. And then everyone's eyes will automatically know. Okay. Happy with what I've got?
Okay.
Very
so
nice,
this is
Holly.
fun. Thank you. There we go.
There you go.
That one's leaning, so we're good.
That's okay. That's okay. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to come in at the top of the path, kind of the base of the trees in the forest. When, again, like I'm saying, when you're looking at something, the colors are brighter up front, they're more detailed, and then it gets darker as it goes back.
Yeah.
So we want to add some black in here.
Okay.
But we want to be very careful not to go over too much of the trunks of our tree. So I'm going to take my aluminum foil again,
Okay.
dip it in black, and just very gently mix it in up here.
Very good. Okay.
So I'm not pushing too hard so I don't get too much black. And if you go over a bit of a tree, that's okay because you can always go back and touch that up later. I'm just darkening it up from the base. Maybe about an inch down into the brown.
Okay.
And the nice thing about this painting is when you do the leaves, you can kind of go over any imperfections and you can consciously think, I didn't like that brown mark, I'm going to put an orange leaf right over there. And it
Yes.
disappears.
So you can layer this paint. Now, so you were saying, so watercolor, you can't do that as well in, is that correct?
Not as well, no. It's very, it can be unforgiving. You know, it's not opaque, so it's clear, it's transparent. Whereas the acrylic, if I have yellow or if I have black and I want to put yellow over it, I can let the black dry and then I can put yellow over it and black will disappear. Watercolors, you can't do that. The darker color will always show through.
And that's the same as oil, right? Did I read that? So you can also layer with oil.
Yes, oil is like acrylic. I love working with oil because it takes a long time to dry. So I could put someone standing right here in the forest and 2 hours from now go, ooh, I don't like that person. And I can go right over it, draw and blend it in and draw it and get rid of it. Acrylics are nice that way too. It's not as blending in, but once it dries, I can go over it and make things disappear. Watercolors are, but then I mean, like I say, I have dabbled in watercolors. I don't love them. I'm not an expert at them because I have not practiced a lot with them. There might be people out there that can do this sort of stuff with watercolors or certain types of, there's so many different types of stuff, right?
Yes. Excellent.
And I remember when I was in college, that was one of the things that they would do is you had to touch on all different mediums, whether it be collage, silk screening, sculpting out of all different things, different paintbrushes, charcoal pencils. You have to try all of those, and some of them you'll try and go, I did not like that at all.
Yeah.
Well, then don't spend your time getting frustrated with it.
Yeah.
But if you do, like I love charcoal drawing.
Yeah.
I got all kinds of charcoals, and that's what I do. That's what I like, and
That's your favorite?
And that's what you become good at.
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
But you've tried the other ones, you can say.
Exactly. I can honestly say I've tried them. And
Yeah.
some I like, some I don't, but I have my favorites. And then it's like anything. That's what you get good at. If that's
Yeah.
what you do the most of, then that's what you get good at. Okay, let's see. The trees. Okay, now we're going to put some stems on our trees. We're going to take the middle brush,
Okay.
middle, medium width, I guess, back to your black.
Okay.
And you can see here, just off the bigger trees, just have some branches go off. So just like when you drew your trees,
Yeah.
you're going to start anywhere and just start and drag up.
And it's okay if they overlap.
It's okay because that's what happens in nature, it overlaps. When you're looking at something, just like Holly and I right now, we're in front of the paintings, they're there, you know they're there, but we're in front of them, so it's going to overlap. That's about perspective as well.
And I like how you have it going off the what do you call this?
The canvas?
The canvas,
The
yes.
canvas, yeah. And you can kind of blend them in at the bottom as you want to make it like it's part of the tree.
Okay.
And this is going to give us kind of a point for the leaves to be sitting on.
Okay.
We'll know there's the branches, that's where the leaves are coming out of. Because your eye, your brain knows how to read what a tree looks like. So it can be a general tree shape, and your eye's going to tell your mind, or your mind's going to tell your eye, I guess, yeah, that's a tree. It doesn't have to look exactly like a tree. It doesn't have
Yeah.
all the details of a tree, but you're going to know it's a tree.
Isn't it interesting how our brains do that?
Exactly. It's like if I have a person standing here,
Yeah.
say they're standing out here, but all you can see is their head and their shoulders because their feet have gone off, they're close enough that they're off the canvas.
Yeah.
You know there's feet there, you know they have legs. So that's all you're doing is giving the eye a visual,
Yeah.
something to look at, and they know what it is.
I guess it's like this. You can see me and you know I do have legs.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
Sorry.
right. So, because people are so prone to they have this nice canvas and they get
Yeah.
this little person in the middle or the little person off to the side. You can have them right up close
Yeah.
and get their arms and their legs off the screen, and it actually makes it more pleasing to the eye.
Okay.
Okay, so then we're going to take a bit of our thicker trees and put some branches in there as well. And if it's, say this is one of my thicker trees, this is closer,
Yeah.
I'm going to stop when I get to the trunk of this tree. Because it's not going to go in front
Okay.
of that tree, it's going behind
Yes,
that tree.
I'm glad I didn't do that. That is good to.
But again, if you did happen to go in front of it, go, ooh, that doesn't look right, then you just do some strokes upward on the big tree again and it disappears. Part of what's nice about the acrylic scheme. And I'm going to take some of my black and kind of drag it up the side of the tree and give more color in different spots. Some of them are, I think they're fairly light. I'd like to see them darker. So, and you can pick and choose which ones you think in your picture would look nice darker.
Yeah, you're right. I can totally make it so that stem doesn't go.
And remember our light source is in the middle of our picture.
Yeah.
So if there's a light shining, if I'm standing here and there's a light shining from here on me, this side is going to glow. It's going to have more detail. This side is going to be darker and shadowed.
Okay.
So remember that with your trees. Here's the light. This side of these trees is
Yeah.
going to be shadowed. This side of these trees is going to be shadowed. Because the
So
light is
darker
going this
kind
way
of
and this
thing.
way.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So to accentuate that, I'm going to put more black on this side of this tree, so that this side, the other side, your left, will appear lighter. So right now we're just going to play with the trees for a little bit. Add some black, add some branches. Nope, doesn't have to be straight, and if you put some black on it, it makes your tree wider, well, that's fine, it can be a bigger tree. This tree I've got, when I did it, I kind of dragged it and I lost a lot of my black, so I'm going to add some more. And this is just getting the base ready for putting our leaves on, and that is the fun part. Those leaves. if you want, you can also switch to your tiny brush and put some stems off of some of the smaller trees too.
I might try that. There we go.
So how do you feel about this, Holly?
I'm good. I like this. You know, when I first saw it, Rhonda showed it to me, and I was like, "Can we do this?" And you know, as somebody who hasn't really done it, I always think that. But when you do it, yeah.
It's not that bad. It's I don't know. I'm sure most of you have watched Bob Ross on TV. This is his type of style. So he's. When I was little, I used to watch him. It was a family thing. We'd watch him every Sunday night. But I never picked up the brush and tried to do what he did. But you always intend to go, and I could do that, but we never do. So this is good because you're all actually doing it now.
Well, I was gonna say it's all in the teacher, so that's why it's so good, right, guys? Thank you. There we go.
I'm gonna switch to my little brush now too, and do some details in my little ones in the back. Little branches coming up. Some dark on the side. I'm going to, you can keep playing with trees as well. I'm looking at this and my path is kind of the same thickness all the way up.
Yeah.
So I want to bring this over a little bit.
Okay.
Kind of close it off at the top.
I'm gonna do that with.
And that makes it look like it's going even more off into the distance.
Then we can use our tin foil again.
Yes, yes.
To make it match. See, I'm learning.
And then the bottom of the really thick trees, I've still got my flat line where I put my brush and dragged it, so
Yeah.
I'm just going to dab it a little bit.
Give it some roots.
Yeah, just dab it a little bit, and then when we put leaves, it'll just look totally blended into the base.
Like that.
So I think I'm just going to leave mine. I'm kind of happy with it now. I can
Yeah.
keep going. You can play with it you can pause us and play as long as you want with your trees.
I'm almost
And
there.
You take your time because I'm just looking at my notes, getting ready for what we're
Okay.
doing next. We did big trees, small trees, we did our stems, we darkened the path. Oh boy, now it's time to do our leaves.
Okay. Oh, it's
This is
I'm
the
gonna
fun
down.
part. We talked about light. Light is very important. So after we get our leaves on here, we're gonna go, actually, I think we should do it now. My sample I did it after. I'm going to add some light color to the trees
Okay.
to give detail. Just the front trees. If you can see, I did it to this one.
Oh
this
yeah.
one,
Some yellow in
this
there.
one, this one. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're going to start highlighting our trees. The trees that are closer, if I know you've been listening to me, right? The trees
Yes.
that are closer have more details. Because as they're farther away, your eyes can't see the detail. When they're closer, you can start to recognize the detail on the trees and the bark and the highlight of the sun shining on the tree. So that's what we're going to do now. So the side that the sun is on is obviously the right on this side of the path.
Okay.
The left on this side of the path.
So the sun's on this part. Okay.
Right. And you can see, actually, probably when I noticed when I did this picture, I did it all on the left of the tree. So I did this side actually backwards. But
I did not notice.
Right?
But it's good to know.
That's part of the thing with being an artist. You're your own worst critic. You know all the details. You know what you did wrong and right.
Yeah.
But when people look at it, it's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
So, exactly. So okay. So I have some yellow, some orange, and some white. I'm going to just pick and choose my colors. I'm going to mix white in with whatever I do because I want it to be nice and bright. And I
Okay.
don't want a solid orange because then it just looks like there's a bunch of leaves sitting on the tree because the leaves are going to be orange. So you can use your big brush or you can use your medium-sized brush.
Okay.
My big brush still has black on it. That's okay. I'm painting lighter on a black tree. So of course the bark is going to show through. So I'm going to blend some yellow and some white, a little bit of orange. You could even use the brown if you want from the base of the brown. Now,
So we're mixing it all
I'm
up
pushing
there.
my brush down so I don't have a lot, big glops on it. And then I'm just going to touch it very lightly so I know I've got some on the end of my brush. Just on the end of my brush.
Okay.
And then I'm going to start on the side of the tree and I'm just going to dab it, just very lightly, dab it and drag it to the right.
Okay. Starting at kind of the
Yeah, starting at the base, or you can start at the top. Just so there's a little highlight on the edge of my tree. And I'm going to do it as well on my next biggest tree on that side of the path. drag it as far over as you like to. Just brings your tree to life, gives it some depth.
That's neat.
Now I'm going to switch to my left hand for the other side. I'm sort of ambidextrous, it's a long story.
Oh.
So I'm okay with that. If you need the right, then you can step over there. Plus I'm on this side of the camera, so I don't want to step in the way.
I'll be using my right hand. Okay.
Mine ended up being kind of like a skin tone color, but that's okay. You really know what color a highlight is on a tree?
Is that because you added more orange, or would that have been?
Yeah, it would be
Okay.
the orange coming in, orange and a lot of white. Now a really, really neat project, while Holly's finishing up, I'll tell you, a really fun project to do, one that I did it my first year of color theory. Get a little 3x3 canvas, those really, really tiny ones. You get them at Walmart, I think they're like $1 or $1.50, and they come with their own little easel to display. And get 3 of those. Take a day of mindfulness, that's just for yourself. Take the day at, say, 8 o'clock in the morning, pick something outside, a tree, a pot of flowers. Take your favorite acoustic guitar, prop it up, but you have to be outside.
Okay.
And you're at 8 o'clock in the morning, you're going to paint that whatever you've got there, guitar, flowers, your favorite vase, whatever. You're going to paint it and using the colors you can see with your eye at that time of the day.
Yeah.
And it's nice, it's quick because it's so small, you can work quick, and you come out, these little canvases make beautiful, beautiful paintings. Then around noon, you're going to paint the exact same object with the colors that you see. Trust me, they will be very different colors. Then around supper time or in the evening, depending on what time of the year it is, draw the exact same object again. Painting don't look at the past ones you've done.
Yeah.
Just paint what you see in front of you with the colors, and then you can put the 3 together. It makes the most beautiful little, it's like the exact same object, but they're totally different colors.
Oh, that is neat.
Yeah. So, and the reason I'm telling you this, it's a great project to do.
Yeah.
But the reason I'm telling you is because mine has this kind of kind of a peachy color, but it could be the time of day. It could be, it could be that.
Yeah.
It could be that color.
Yeah.
Color is very important in nature. It can be almost anything. So that's a fun little project to do.
Okay.
Okay, are you happy with your trees?
I am.
They look very nice.
Thank
They look
you.
very birchy. I like that. Birch trees.
I like birch trees.
And see, Holly did her far tree has more white than the front tree, but that's okay because no 2 trees look alike. They're not the exact same color. They could be 2 different totally types of trees, right? So that's good. So now we're done with that brush.
Okay.
Now the fun part.
What are we doing?
We're doing the leaves.
Oh, yes.
The leaves. It's so satisfying. It's like the last step, and it really pulls it together and gives you your color.
Take a good look at it now while it's at this stage, and then.
So I'm going to just set this palette aside and check on that. And you can start with whichever color you want. Let's start with orange.
Okay.
I have enough orange here.
This over here. Oh, so a good glob.
Yep, a good glob of orange. Put a really good glob of orange on there.
Oh, there's a little bit more. I like the color orange at this time of year.
Oh, yes, orange and yellows and reds and okay, so the leaves. Start at the top. It's going to be thicker up where the main foliage of the trees are, and plus that's where all our main branches, because we haven't put a lot of branches down here. We're mainly looking at tree trunks. So the leaves are kind of going to be up here, even off your page. So they're going to be thicker here. They're gonna be down here because you've got your little trees in the back, but they're not going to be as thick because they're farther away.
Okay.
And then of course we're going to have some on the ground, but not too much, and more in the foreground. Because again, you see the more detail up close, and then as they go back.
Ah,
So-
gotcha.
And then on this one, I put some on the back of my path as well.
And that's last? No, that would be
It's up close so you can see. See, it's thicker up here. I do have some back here because there's trees far away, so I need some down there. And then I put more orange down here and up along the path and the sides of the path. because people have been walking on the path, so it
Yes.
kind of pushes the leaves off to the side when you walk on the path.
My dog's been there, I tell you.
Yes, puppy dogs and little boys and girls
Yeah.
chasing and stepping on the trenches, the leaves this time of year. So fun. So fun.
I have to go rake ours. We
Oh.
jump in them.
Oh, that's so fun. Okay, and then now's the fun part. You just
All
start.
right, here we go.
Start down. Woo. And you might pick up some of the color from the background, some of the black. That's okay. It'll just be a leaf that has a shadow on it, or a lot of leaves have turned brown over the summer and they fall off. Starting at the top, lobbing it on. How do you like that, Holly?
Oh, and you know what? I almost panicked because I'm like, there's leaves over the top of the path, but you're right, the branches go over,
Yes.
so there will be leaves. Excited to put this on my fireplace. I've been telling my husband.
Do you decorate for
I do. I
holiday?
go, like, fall and Christmas are my 2 times where I go a little bit crazy.
Do you do Thanksgiving at your house?
Yes, we do. Yeah.
There you go.
I've got many fall leaves in my house right now.
Kids must love that.
Oh, they do. They do. They love to help me decorate, and then I sometimes redecorate after them. But
They make them knowing.
yes, exactly. Yeah, they while they're asleep.
You do the same with the Christmas tree?
Yes, absolutely.
You know what, I used to do that.
Yeah.
And actually, honestly, now my kids, it's so nice, because I come home from work one day and they'll have the tree up and all decorated.
Oh, really?
They've gotten into this habit of doing it together, which is nice.
Oh,
And it's nice because then I come home and I've really gotten so that I don't touch the tree anymore. Because they
nice.
will know now. They're in
Mom,
their,
you moved
they're in
that.
their 20s. They'll know I did it. Plus, it's just
Oh.
that they're better at it, I guess, too.
Mine's
but-
still 7. I'm not there yet.
Yeah, there's still times I'll look and go, oh, that's a little bare, but I'm gonna leave it. Just,
Yeah.
just because
Oh.
I'm glad they do that for
Yeah,
me.
that is very nice.
Yeah,
Oh.
I love decorating my tree, but it's so nice to come home and it's all done.
Yes, yes. Oh, I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can see, we didn't really coat
this.
a lot, right?
Yeah.
But you can if you want to. You can, it depends on when the last wind blew and blew off the trees, all the weeds off the trees. And then I'm going to take and put some in my brown.
I love this.
It just works. And again, you're not actually taking a brush and painting 1 leaf, 2 leaf. You're
Yeah.
it's just a big overall blob of leaves, and it works because your eye knows what that is, what it's supposed to be.
I'm gonna try this bottom part.
And as I come down here, I'm just going to blend my black in a little bit that I had.
Big pile of leaves there.
Now, before you go onto your path, Holly,
Yeah.
you probably want to grab a new piece of tinfoil. Because now
Okay.
I've gone down here and I've gotten brown all in my orange. I'm
Yeah.
going to set that aside because I might want to add more orange later.
Okay.
You're, the sky's the limit to what you want to do. You're not done until you're done.
Stand back, look at it.
So now I've taken one that I had put white on, put my orange on. Now I'm going to go into my path
Do.
very lightly because when you work on a white background, things show up super easy, darker colors. But when you're working on black, you almost need more paint, to cover in the black.
Okay.
So I'm just going to very lightly dabble on that.
Yeah. Sorry. Nice.
And this also helps show where the path, where it ends on the horizon line. I think I want to change that. Right here. You can do this, you can do the exact same painting in different seasons. You could have one all white on the bottom with snow. You could put white along the branches and no leaves.
Oh, yeah.
That would be your winter one. With a maybe bluer in the background to give it a nice cool winter color. You could do the exact same thing but with green on the bottom and green leaves. For green, maybe a little touch of yellow for highlighting for the summer. So you could have this painting on your wall, have the exact same one for different seasons. You could do one with little pink flowers for rosebuds, or not rosebuds, sorry, like cherry blossoms
Yeah.
or something on it for the spring.
You should go out and sit in the forest, like if you have no one, and do what you said each season. Go to the same place
Yeah.
and paint the same place, but
Yeah.
different seasons.
That's true. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
and then you can have a spot in your house it changes with the seasons, which
Yes.
is kind of cool.
And we'll look at yours and see how you did a bit more. You know what? I'm gonna add a few leaves to these ones. See, these trees don't have much.
Yes, exactly. You can see where the branch comes up. If there's nothing on it, add some leaves.
Missing anything, Rhonda?
I think it looks great.
Yeah?
You might want to come up a little bit, like
Okay.
don't be afraid to go up above.
And you know I do. I'm like, you can't go out of that box, but yeah, I know you can. There we go.
And some of mine is very gloppy. It's got big glops on it, but they will dry flatter, but they will leave a little bit of a bump, which gives a nice texture to your picture. And then the last thing we're gonna do.
I'll stop.
You can keep going. Get it where you want it. The last thing we're gonna do is I added a bit of red in the leaves at the top. Red and green are complementary colors, so if you ever look at a color wheel, I don't know if many of you are familiar with it or not, I know we learned it every year in school for years, but the colors that are opposite on the color wheel are called complementary colors. You put the two of them together and they just draw your eye right to them. That's why they call them complement. They complement, and for some reason they draw your eye. So red and green, Christmas colors.
Yeah.
Very, very, like, they draw your eye right to them. Purple and yellow are complementary, and blue and orange. So I'm going to put some green in the bottom because we have some green leaves that have fallen.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put some red in the top, and the red and the green will complement each other.
Okay.
So you'll notice that when you look at artwork now, that most of the famous artists, they're
Yeah.
very, very, color's very important. And you'll see they've got, like, the whole thing might be green, and then they'll put a little red accent somewhere because they're trying to draw your eye to that red accent.
Point.
So that's what
Interesting.
it's all about. So I'm just going to use my orange tinfoil still because it doesn't hurt to put more orange on there as well. I'm going to squirt some red and some green on my palette and just dab away. I'm going to put not as much red or green at all as I did orange. This is just a highlight, just an accent to make it a little more interesting and pleasing to the eye. So I'll start with my red because it's a lighter hue, a lighter value of a paint. And I'm going to put it up in the tree. So then when I go to my green, I might get a little bit of red on the bottom, that's okay, but I'll get mostly green. Will overpower the...
So use that same tinfoil with the orange.
Yeah, and just very lightly dab in a few places.
Okay. It doesn't matter where, up or high or low.
Actually, I put way more paint on my palette than I needed to. That's okay, I guess better too much than too little, right?
Yeah.
And that gives it a nice maple tree kind of look. They have
Oh,
those
yes.
deep, dark red colors in the fall.
We
So
have one in our backyard right now that's
nice.
absolutely red.
Oh.
It's little, but it's red.
Yeah, oh, they're so nice.
There you go. And did you do any bottom or just on top?
I did not yet.
Not yet,
So
okay.
then I'm going to take the green and concentrate it again more to the bottom,
Yes.
just a little bit. So then we're going to do the green. It could be leaves that have fallen. It could be the remaining of some ferns that are growing in the forest floor. Could be any sort of weeds that are growing down there. Grass
Not
even.
weeds.
Yeah.
I guess it happens in the forest.
Anything.
Happens in my yard too.
There. So now you can kind of stand back, look at it, and go, like, really take a one over. Okay, I've got a really bare spot here. I'd like some more orange. Or you're basically just touching up how you want it right now. And then guess what? You're done.
You're done. Yay. Should we bring it close so they can see it?
Sure.
Let's
And
see.
see, Holly's and I are not exactly alike, but they both look like forest pictures.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Thank you so much,
Oh,
Rhonda.
and one last thing I'll tell you. If you're, depending on where you're hanging it, you might want to run color paint on the edges.
Okay.
You can do straight orange, you can do all black, you can do, I would wait till the painting dries.
Okay.
Because one, you might drop it, and then oops, what a mess. Your land's face
Yes,
down.
that wouldn't be good.
You could, yeah, but I would wait till it dries and then very carefully just run your brush along with the colors. And
So
black would look pretty cool with this, a black edge. Because then if you hang it on the wall, you're not seeing just the globs of the white. And black would cover up any of the paint on there. So, last fact. And other than that, I hope you enjoyed it.
Yes, please, if you would like to post your
that would be
paintings
awesome.
on Facebook to let us see it on our Facebook site, that would be awesome. Mm-hmm. And yes, if you have any questions at all, you can call the library, ask for Holly. Mm-hmm. Yes, and thank you so much, Rhonda. We appreciate that.
You're welcome.
It was fun. Hope to see you again.
Bye-bye.